All right, no nonsense. Getting into my 80% win rate strategy that's been doing absolute bits for me over the past 6 months. Really, really simple to learn, and I'm going to show you how to do it right now. Before we begin, like and subscribe, leave a comment, and if you do want signals for this strategy, you can get them in the description below. Sign up to the private Discord. So the strategy, very, very simple. You've got your accumulation, your manipulation, and your distribution in the markets. This is what you're looking for. Basically, you've got your lovely, lovely area of accumulation. You've got your liquidity looking something like this. You know there's tons of stop losses below this, something like this. And then what you're looking for is your nice manipulation down, taking out all the stop losses, and then you want to see your reversal back to the upside, preferably in 5 or 6 candles like this, creating a nice fair value gap that you can basically invert back to the upside or avoid. Some people call these voids, where you have a big gap between the first and the third candle. This second candle here, not having very many orders in it because it moved down so quickly. So basically you can reverse back through them very quickly as well, because there's not much stopping price from running back up through this. Usually if you see an inversion of this, you will see a good move back to the upside. This is basically in conjunction with what's happening here. As you can see, this is basically this with the candle shown. You'd have your inverted fair value gap like this, and very simply you just enter on the close back above this fair value gap. Say for example, this is the close, stop loss below, 1-to-1 take profit for your first target. And then I have runners up to the high of day and to all-time highs. Since we're at all-time highs at the minute, it makes a lot of sense to do this. If we close back below this inverted fair value gap, I'll call this a loss. But generally speaking, we do usually come up and hit at least a 1R, in which case I will close half the position at 1R, put the rest to break even, and then see whether or not we run up to another take profit or come down and hit the break even stop loss. And this is basically the strategy. Very, very simple stuff. And it also works even better if, when you come down and get the sweep of liquidity down here, if there's a big void or gap to the side like this that you can bounce out of, this usually works even better. This works really, really well on NQ, which is NASDAQ 100 futures. Lots and lots of futures traders trade on this specific strategy at the minute. From what I've seen, 3 or 4 different people have been talking about this non-stop, to be honest, and I finally had to check it out, and I couldn't believe how well things actually worked. So that's basically the strategy. I'm not going to bore you too much with the rigmarole. I'm just going to come and show you a few examples of the strategy that I've seen recently. Price action's been a bit weird over the past few days, to be honest. You can see we got this massive drop on Tuesday, but we never got it. Even though we got a really great sweep of so much liquidity, we never really got that inversion back to the upside. And we did basically have these massive fair value gaps that you can see here, but we never really got a good inversion or good momentum back to the upside. Although we did have a nice little trade in PM, while it isn't as textbook as you would like a big sweep of liquidity at open followed by a reversal. This one here was technically a good trade. You can see on the 5 minute here, you've got your accumulation, your manipulation to sweep liquidity, and your distribution up, which is a perfect example really of what I've been talking about. And you can see you've got a very nice fair value gap here that you could take this on. Very simple stuff. We obviously had that big move at open. We came up, we accumulated, and then at lunch, after lunch in the US, which is usually when you can get another trade, we got this manipulation down. We came back up in the space of 5, 6, 7 candles with a good amount of momentum on this candle here specifically. We closed back above. This is where you would have entered. Stop loss below. Take profit at a 1-to-1. As you can see quite clearly here, this would have come up in the space of 20 minutes and hit your take profit 1. My second take profit would have been at this swing high here, because you don't know how far you're going to get back up through all of this. When you bounced here and consolidated, it doesn't really show you any good momentum to be cleaning back through all of this, in my opinion. And you can see we came up, we actually hit a 2R on this trade, and then I would have taken another half off here. So 3/4 of the position taken off at a 1.5R overall, I believe that would be. And then the rest of the position got stopped at break even here when we came down and retraced. So good trade overall, good use of the strategy, very, very simple. But really you want to be looking for these obvious ones. This one here was a really, really obvious, the best V-shape that I've seen in a long time, maybe the best ever, to be honest. The only problem was the sheer lack of entries that you probably would have had. You can see on the 5 minute here, we did have this massive fair value gap, but realistically entering up here and then having your stop loss at a 1-to-1 from here is absolutely ridiculous. Amazingly, it would have worked, as you can see. But having a stop loss that's like, what are we looking at here? 100 points is just way too big for me, in my opinion. And I think, let me just take a look at the smaller time frames here, because I'm sure that I got into a position on this. I think I might have taken a position all the way at the bottom because I saw this really, really big momentum back to the upside. You can see what we got at open here. Just before open, we're accumulating. We get the manipulation down. We're sweeping levels of liquidity all over the place. And then once I saw the momentum coming back up, I was like, yeah, this is definitely going to be a banger. And when you're in the vicinity of the all-time high as well, you've always got the potential of just running to the all-time high and getting a really big move to the upside and catching a really massive amount of pips. I'm pretty sure I got in at some point in this area here. I can't remember the exact reason, but I think when I saw the momentum to the upside, I think it might have been on this manipulation, you know. Can you see the entry here that I potentially took? I think it was this, but I took it half size because it wasn't technically the model that I'm teaching you. But you can see, obviously, we've got open, we get our manipulation, we actually get our accumulation. Instead of getting the V shape back to the upside like this instantly, what we got was big momentum down, consolidation, and then you can see here the manipulation to sweep the liquidity. So you get your move, your manipulation, and then you go back up like this, which is really interesting. And this can happen as well. So keep this in mind. But you can see here, I think the entry that I took, there is a 1 minute here, but it's quite a small fair value gap, as you can see. This is only like 2 points, which isn't very big. But I think on the 30 second, which I don't have the chart for on TradingView, but I do on Apex on Tradeovate, which is what I trade on. I think this fair value gap here was really quite big, and it closed. If I can actually get this to with my magnet, I think there was a fair value gap like this. And when I saw this accumulation, manipulation, and then the momentum back up, I think I entered down here like this. But I sadly only took a really small position. I think I took like quite literally 1 or 2 micros at this low here. And as you can see, this would have worked out pretty much instantly. But I was looking to target back up to the top of this V shape here. At the very least, I think I held 1 micro to here and then closed it. And then I held the second micro pretty much all the way up to all-time highs, I think here. Let me have a quick look and see where we got to. 4 hours a bit too big. 1 hour, 30 minute. Where are we here? We're here. Yeah, I think this was new all-time highs, wasn't it? I think I just held one to all-time highs and then got stopped out on a trading stop loss like this. Overall, you get the idea. There's trades like this all the time. Just look at pretty much every single V. Look at the V shape. Every single V shape on this chart. Basically, all of them work out back to the upside. And if you can catch an entry on them, you can usually at least get a 1 hour play back to the upside. You can see all of these, how well they're all working. Look, it's pretty crazy, to be honest. There was one here. This one was a really good one. We swept the high. We swept the low. I'm sure that there was an entry down here on the 30 second or the 1 minute. You hold it back to the high and new all-time highs. V shape here. This worked. V shape here. This one worked. V shape here. This one worked, but I don't think there was an entry. You can see there's just endless opportunities with this strategy. There might even be a V shape right now. I mean, you could argue that this is a trade. We sweep the high, like we've got our accumulation, we sweep the high, we sweep the low. We've got, what have we got here? Is this, you could consider this a gap. Potentially. It's not the cleanest though, maybe the 2 minute. This 2 minute gap maybe would have been valid. Although it's a bit small. I do like them to be more than 4 or 5 points so that they're big and obvious, but you can see this would have worked. Pretty obviously. These happen all the time, guys. I'm literally telling you. Constantly potential winning trades. If you can get entries on them, these V shapes work a hell of a lot of the time, especially when we're bullish and we're at all-time highs. Really, really good strategy. Definitely go check it out. I'm going to leave it here because I don't want to waffle too much. Like and subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know if you've got any questions in the comments. I'm happy to talk to you. And if you do want to get signals and alerts for this, you can join the private Discord in the description below. I do alerts for this every single day so you don't miss any trades. And I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.